Hello everyone, and welcome back to June. This is our yin practice for the month. Our yang practice was pretty ambitious, went over an hour. We used weights, we did vigorous movement. The idea being that we can adapt ourselves for the heat of summer through building heat in our bodies and our muscles. Today's practice will complement and balance that by being cooling, easy breezy. It's later in the month now. We're probably in more of a heat wave. I don't know where you are, but it's heating up around here. So we can do some stuff to help with that, like have a more gentle practice. It's one of my favorite practices to do. It's a set of movements that I regularly just like plug and play with clients in classes. I find myself always coming back to it. Should create some nice balance for those muscular movements we did earlier in the month, but also if you've been enjoying the warmer weather, active out there, I don't know, playing pickleball, hiking, whatever you've been doing, it should create some nice balance for that as well. The other thing I like to suggest at this time of year is anything floral. So we can take rose water. We can, buy any kind of rose water at the grocery store, whatever you like. It doesn't have to be fancy. It is one of our more affordable essential oil options. You can even water it down. We can put it in a spray bottle and leave it in the fridge so that when we're feeling way too hot, we can cool down. The energetics of florals is that they are soothing to Pitta people or the Pitta season. So when we are hot, heated, feeling aggressive sometimes, that agitation that comes from the heat, florals are a nice way to soothe that energy, especially if we keep a little spray bottle in the fridge. So there's my little tip from me to you. It can help us feel soothed, maybe when we're tired in the afternoon, tired and too hot. Can be a little bit cheerful if we want to start our day with that as well, and definitely good at bedtime to help us calm ourselves before sleep. If we're thinking we want to add a tea, I love adding beverages to my practice on theme with our season. It's getting hot, maybe something with peppermint. If we still like a little bit of spice, we could do peppermint ginger. Or maybe we want something a bit more grounding, more soothing. I've got peppermint and I added almond milk to it, and usually before bed I'll either put in some pumpkin pie spice or nutmeg, and that is supposed to be soothing and helpful for our sleep. That's all I have to say for today. That's it, short and sweet, and we're gonna do a pretty short and sweet practice. I hope you can stick to it because it's shorter, do it more often, get more bang for your buck. We know how it goes, modify anything. If you feel cold, put on more layers. If you feel hot, just take it easy. We're ready to balance. Let's start lying down. Let's begin in a neutral, cooling position. We can plant our feet. Maybe our knees are knocking together. We can take hands to belly to focus on a really cooling, soothing, deep belly breath. Let's close our eyes here. And we'll use, again, another one of my favorite techniques here. Counting 10 rounds of breath, counting backwards. So inhaling 10, at our own pace, exhaling 10, inhaling 9, exhaling 9, feeling ourselves going deeper into relaxation with every exhale. With every exhale in our own minds as we're counting, saying going deeper. Inhaling 7, exhaling 7, going deeper. Let's continue here until we get to 0. we'll begin our movement with a flowing or rocking modified figure 4. So let's do opposite from usual to be even more balancing. We'll take the left leg first. Generally we start with right leg, maybe you don't notice, but to be even more balancing, let's start with the left for today. Left ankle over right thigh. We can keep a little bit of a flex in the left foot to protect some of the integrity of the lower limb so we're not just yanking or flopping around. So we do have a small amount of strength in the core while we move here, and then we just flow side to side, letting left foot drop to the right side and then left knee drop to the left side, modifying our body position as necessary. Generally, we take the arms out to T position. We might like to put palms down for greater stability. Some of us might prefer cactus arms, bending the elbows. And some of us might prefer to take the arms overhead. I actually generally use my hands as a pillow, interlaced behind the head. And for summer, I like to think of myself, lying on a grassy lawn, the sun streaming down on me between the leaves, lying under a big tree. And I think this pose lends itself to that. There's something sort of easygoing about it, so we don't need to overthink it, overdo it. We can breathe fully as we flow. Little bit of muscular tension in the ankle and in the abs, and other than that, letting our bodies guide us. Today might be a big range of motion day, might be a small range of motion day. We might want to move quickly, we might want to move slowly, seeking out any areas that feel tight in this range of motion, moving probably more slowly through those tight spots. And then with the option to pause while we're going. So that might mean pausing in the center, simply resting if rest is needed. Or generally we pause with the top foot resting on the opposite side. So left foot resting on the right side. And if our legs feel like they're slipping away, we can take right hand to left ankle to hold onto it. And usually at this point it's more comfortable to have the opposite arm reaching up overhead. So we get a feeling of more opening sensation through the left side of the ribs and maybe underarm. If it feels good, we don't even have to make it a pause. We can stay here for a few rounds of breath, making it a full stop. Body head to toe, seeing if we're gripping, tensing, holding anywhere, encouraging that tension to release. We don't really need to do much except have our right hand hold our left ankle, that's it. And before we switch sides, might feel good to release and pause on the other side, or to release rocking back and forth a few more times. And to reset, we can again come back to center, maybe letting our knees knock in. No rush to move through any of these. Hands to belly, checking in with how we feel. And some of us may feel that that was quite a big shift. Some of us might feel that that was subtle or even unnoticeable. That's okay. It's all good. We're doing our body good, no matter how it feels, but just making note of what's going on. And then we're ready for the other side. Right over left. And we can sway. Finding a place where our arms are comfortable to let them land down. Maybe we feel we need more grounding. We can hold the edges of the mat. Bit of core control, a little bit of tension in the muscles of the lower limb and ankle, and then seeing where we can release tension throughout the rest of the body. Can we release the the forehead, the jaw. Feeling out the range of motion, right? It might be very subtle. It might feel like we're not really doing much of anything. Or maybe sometimes, you've done a big hike or something, and the next day doing this, you're like, oh my goodness, it's a lot of sensation to be moving through this. Just information from the body to the brain to notice how this practice lands. We can keep flowing, or we can pause, or we can hold. So if we want to hold, left ankle to right thigh. Now our right arm is free to go anywhere. Maybe we want to be more aware of our breathing. We can place right hand on right rib or belly. Maybe we like to reach up overhead. We can soften the muscles of the face, closing the eyes. Before we switch sides, we might want to pause on the other side, loosen up the front of the left hip, or we might like to do a bit of movement. Resetting the body, finding what feels like a home base, a comfortable resting spot. And then when we're ready, we can maybe do a long stretch or any other movement that feels necessary at this point. We can circle the ankles, wiggle the toes, move wrists, anything like that. And let's alternate a single knee to chest. So we can hold the right leg, drawing in. Might be more comfortable to hold pant leg or back of the leg. Switching sides. Go once more each way. Give that leg a big hug. Maybe we're feeling the digestion or something like that. Benefit of things moving along. Sometimes it produces gas or we just feel movement. That's beautiful. Let's draw both knees to chest. Give ourselves a big hug again. Maybe rocking side to side, releasing the low back. Sometimes it feels good to curl up. Knee to nose. And let's come into a banana stretch here. So let's take our left leg long. We're going to work on the left side first, and I'll show us a gentle variation and then a more intense variation. But the idea is that we get that sort of friction of feeling that we're on our comfort edge. If it feels like nothing is happening, probably nothing's happening. And if it feels like a ton of tension and we feel ourselves tensing, too much. So let's find that Goldilocks just right place where we feel some sensation of something going on. Our left leg, we're going to take it to cross the center line. Left arm is going to come up, and then we're going to move into a side bend. Now, if this arm doesn't want to come all the way up, we can put it anywhere. So maybe we just want to leave it as it is, but side bend the spine perfect. Maybe we want to again take hand behind head or elbow bent as we did before, but we're opening up the left side of the body no matter what we choose. We could even hold elbows, forearms, wrists, our hands can clasp in some way. Usually this is done by right hand holding left wrist and providing a little bit of tension to pull over. And then if we take full gentle breaths, we should feel some opening through the left side of our breathing capacity. And if we're comfortable with it, it's just another option to lay our right leg across our left leg. Less stable feeling for some, and then we might even move further past the midline. So essentially we're making our bodies the shape of a banana, and we'll hold here for roughly 10 rounds of breath. About halfway. Feel free to adjust. Sometimes we have to move out of the pose and then back into it. We want to move deeper or come out just a bit to keep it comfortable. Those options are always there for us. Give it a few more rounds of breath. Let's take a full breath in, feeling the expansion of the left side of our lung capacity. Seeing hopefully it feels a bit more open, and then we might need to move slowly through the arms and legs to come back through center and reset. Pausing just for a moment to settle in, seeing if we can feel a difference between left side and right side. And then we're ready to go. Bending the left leg, giving us some stability. Taking the right leg across the center line. Taking arms overhead, however it feels good. So generally this one is done left wrist holding right and drawing us into our side bend. But of course, that might not be comfortable. I mean, not all of my clients can get their arms flat on the floor above their head with their arms straight. I always laugh because the clients I have that do this the best, one of them's a mechanic. So he's accustomed to being under cars reaching up, or people who work in a kitchen stacking dishes overhead. The rest of us are usually a little bit more restricted. So maybe we're more in a bent arm position. Maybe our hands are behind our head. It's all good. But as long as we are taking our torso into a side bend, opening up that right side, beautiful. If we'd like to lay the left leg along the right, we can. Maybe further crossing the center line, upper body and lower body. Allowing our breath to be gentle, full without forcing, expanding the right side of our lung capacity. Let's do roughly 10 rounds of breath here. We're about halfway there. We might need to shift or adjust. to come back through center, doing anything we need to do to feel that we are settling in, balancing. Sometimes the body feels it needs to move in some way. We can do that. We're ready for some degree of rotation, not too much. Let's come to lie on the left-hand side. So we'll start left again. And one benefit of what we already did is that it might be more comfortable to use our arm as a pillow, or we might be grabbing a block, putting it under our head. Maybe we're curled up more comfortably. So take your time readjusting this. Sometimes people like to have something between the knees, or the knees sort of staggered, or the legs straight to be comfortable. It's probably one of my least favorite things to do in a yoga or Pilates class is to lie on the side of the body, but I think I'm more cranky than the average student. So we won't be here for too long. Whenever you're ready, we'll start circling the top arm. Nice big circles. Same as we did with our pigeon. Flowing pigeon, same idea here. In fact, if a circle isn't that comfortable, we can just go up and down in the back range of motion. The arm can be quite bent, doesn't have to be. Some of us might like it straighter. That means that we have more weight being put on the shoulder, so a little bit more risk there. Let sensation be our guide. Well, sensation and common sense. So, if you're prone to shoulder issues, go easy on it. But then if putting the arms straight way back there feels great, okay, probably a good idea. Generally, we move in like a backstroke range of motion. Most of our day is spent reaching forward. So if we can reach backwards through here, fantastic. Let's do roughly 3 more circles here. Like I said, we won't be here that long. It's not everybody's favorite position to be in. And then our last circle is going to bring us into rotation. So let's let that arm get extra heavy in behind, right shoulder coming down. Probably our arms are out to T. And if we would like a deeper twist, we're straightening the left leg. We can readjust our bodies however necessary. Still that easy idea, let's not work too hard, but we'll hold our twist for a few rounds of breath here. We can use the hand under the knee for support, or extra pressure to draw down, pulling us further into the pose. Again, let our body sensation be our guide. Feel it out in the low back, the hip, everywhere else. We might want to pull ourselves out of the fullest range of motion or pull ourselves deeper. Both are good options. I had a teacher that anytime you took it easy, she would say, "Oh, that's the mark of an advanced practitioner." So if you took a rest, that was the mark of an advanced practitioner. If we pull out of the pose a little bit because there's too much sensation, that's the mark of an advanced practitioner. And there's a lot of truth to that. The student who's always pushing to 110% is more often a beginner, maybe in mind or body, that those really important lessons of yoga, to not push too hard, too far, that comes from experience, but it also comes from cultivating a mindset of self-compassion, enjoying the journey of a class instead of just pushing towards some sort of result. No need to be competitive or have expectations of ourselves, but to sense into the body, feel what's going on, and see what is legitimately of the most benefit. So there's no true value in just trying to look like a yoga picture out of a manual, but there is a lot of value in trying a pose, seeing how it feels, not having to be the best who looks the most like the manual. Sometimes poses that look kind of weird or funky or easy are the ones that our bodies need the most. I like to use an exhale to come out of this, to have just a little pull from the abs. Again, we can reset ourselves to be more comfortable. And just so I stay facing you, I'm going to switch to the other side. You can stay exactly as you are, or you can stay facing me if that is what you need. We're lying down on our other side. Here we go. Big circle with that top arm. Our shoulders have a huge range of motion compared to so many of our other joints, which may mean that we need to work more on stability. But since in a regular day we're probably not using that full range of motion, for most of us that might mean, especially after the winter, I think, we're stiff, rigid, and it feels nice to open up, but we want to work without pushing too much. Feeling out the range of motion, finding tight spots, moving more slowly through the tight spots. Maybe just moving in the back range of motion. For some of us who have a lot of crunching, usually staying in the back range of motion can have less crunching. And I know that crunching noise in the shoulders can be really jarring. It can take away from some of the soothing, relaxing aspects of yoga. So if we don't like to crunch, probably just keeping it in the back, doing a smaller range of motion instead of these giant sweeping circles will get rid of some of that crunchiness. Okay, find those tight spots, moving slowly. And maybe your movement, what was I just saying? Some of our poses look wonky and weird. Maybe your movement is different than mine, right? But it feels really good. Maybe that's what our shoulders are craving. Go for it. Give it a few more circles here. And then our third circle will pull us into a twist, letting our left shoulder become heavy, dropping back. We can be very gentle in our twist, just sort of flop out, or we can go for a deeper range of motion, straightening our bottom leg. Bring our arms to T or cactus again, as we've been doing. Our right hand can provide greater sensation by drawing left knee down, or greater support by holding it up. And just because we did something on the first side doesn't mean that we need that on the second side. I actually was supporting on the first side, and this side I think I need more sensation by pulling down. Maybe you are like me, that because we do our blind spot checks in our car differently from the right side to the left side, I benefit from a bit more twisting on the left side to create balance. Food for thought, that may or may not be you. I've also had a lot of clients who tell me that since they got a backup camera in their car, they can no longer turn their neck. They've lost the range of motion in their neck, and we had to do a lot of work around that and massage. So this one will also help with that. We shouldn't just go for convenience and lose mobility, right? We should always be able to turn our heads. Backup cameras are fantastic, but you know, turning our heads is fantastic too. Can we soften? Can we release? Let gravity work a little bit more here. Maybe a couple more rounds of breath. And then if you're like to be like me, use a bit of core strength. with an exhale. We'll reset in the center. Again, there might be some movement we'd like to do. Now we've been spending a long time here on our backs. If you're happy to stay here on your back on the mat, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I will suggest waking ourselves up with a seated final meditation. So we can take our time getting there, of course. Believe it or not, if we are getting ready for bed, seated meditation, we might think intuitively supine meditation is better. But if you notice that lying down for bed sends your thoughts racing, lying down for meditation might also send our thoughts racing. So maybe we like a seated meditation instead. Yogi's choice, as always. Noticing where we find benefit, letting that be our guide. Okay. If we would like, we can take hand to belly and heart. We can draw shoulders down our backs. And one of my favorite mudras to use is one for relieving stress, anxiety, any kind of pressure, and helping us to feel relaxed without feeling, heavy. So we can take our middle two fingers and our thumbs together and then leave that palms up or palms down on the knees, technically to be less energizing, palms down. So if we are using this to prepare for sleep, maybe palms down, or if we were just using it for a break and we're getting to move into the rest of our day after this, then we can do palms up. And of course, it's just an option. We can do anything else we like. But if we're ready, let's do another 10 rounds of breath here. So we started with 10 rounds of breath. Inhale 10, exhale 10. Inhale 9, exhale 9. And this time, instead of going deeper, what can we say to ourselves on our exhale to give us what we need? We might be waking up. We could say that instead. Inhale 8, exhale 8, waking up. Or if we're ready to fall asleep, instead we say inhale 7, exhale 7, falling asleep, using whatever words or guides we need to take us where we want to go. I'll leave us now in quiet to complete this practice. Let's see if we can bring a feeling of peaceful relaxation to our faces, a little smile, releasing tension from the brow. Spine is tall, evenly balanced between heaven and earth. we're ready, bringing hands to heart center, saying thank you to our minds and bodies for being here. Thank you to ourselves for committing to practices like this. And thank you from me to you for showing up and spending this time with me. From my light to yours, namaste.